All right, boys. It begins. The chapter begins with one of the pilots of the jets answering Star's question from last chapter. He said that this is Tomura Shigaraki, not All for One, and that he can use shockwave attacks. Why does he know this and not Star? The jets then activate a force field and ask Star if they are going to attack or retreat. She replies, smash, obviously. They then get into a specific formation and go to attack. Meanwhile, Shigaraki is talking to himself, saying that he feels weird. At the same time that he knows he is Tomura Shigaraki, he simultaneously has no doubt that he's All for One. He begins to attack. He uses a combo of radio waves, push, and encumbrance, but the jet dodge it. Encumbrance? What's encumbrance? Does anyone know what encumbrance is? I don't recognize that one. Yo, if the jet, you know what? Not gonna lie, I did not consider the jets being important in any degree here. So, yo, what if this girl's quirk are the jets? Actually, yeah. What if her quirk is creating? Would that work? Creating battleships and jets? What if her quirk is the power of war? Oh man, the jokes about nukes might actually be important. Way down, basically, amount of weight you carry. Okay, encumbrance. Yeah, alright. Okay. Yeah, no, I don't know, man. If this girl can just create jets, or if she can just empower the weapons of war. Oh, that'll be a pretty cool quirk. Weapon of war. Oh my god, that would suck. Oh my god, that's so American. Oh my gosh, I don't know what. And Stars and Stripe. Oh my gosh, yeah, this is how Stars and Stripe bring freedom to the world through war. I mean, that's how the States does it. They just bring freedom through war. Her quirk is democracy. Enforced democracy, man. Think maybe Deku uses some smash All Might never use, whereas Star smashes? I don't know. Maybe that's why she's so stuck onto the jet. Maybe, like, actually, she can meld with the weapons of war. The fact that we're driving into it makes me feel that fight might be where that situation gets resolved. Well, what do you think about it so far, White Despair? Like, Tomura is already saying he has no doubt that he's All for One. Like, that is, for me, that's really interesting, right? Because I'm going for the... Like, Shigaraki needs to be maintained to some degree because you need the hate factory. But if he's having an issue where he thinks he's All for One as well... That's really interesting, because that's saying that the vestige is really rooted deep inside of his subconscious right now. I saw the jets being a liability, but not full on in the fight. She may be a literal war machine factory. Nah. We're getting... I'm getting too excited about this. There's no way we're going to go with a full meta type quirk. She might have patriotism, which just lets her empower everything that belongs to her country or something stupid like that. The big question is whether or not those jets... Like, look, if the jets turn out to be part of the quirk, that's going to be wild. Shigaraki fulfilling his dream of being All for One. I think the fact that we immediately start tackling the issue, even after it makes it seem this fight will largely focus on the issue and by extension, most likely resolve it. No, I agree with you. Like, when I'm seeing it here, I do think we're going to further into it. Like, honestly, already, for me, having Shigaraki say that he simultaneously has no doubt that he's All for One is a really big deal for me, because it pushes symbiosis further. Shigi lets go of All for One by giving the quirk to Deku. The vestige in Deku imprisoned the All for One vestige. Is that the ending? Oh, that'd be pretty cool. No, that'd be pretty cool. Like, if he forces the quirk into Izuku and Izuku imprisons it with the vestiges, that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, no, I'd actually be pretty... I'd be pretty happy with that. I do think the vestiges self-destruct, though. At least the brothers self-destruct to take him out. But that'd be a pretty cool one. Her being near the jets buff the jet makes them faster, more durable. Yeah, can't Shigi just EMP the jets? Maybe they're prepared for that, though. Well, that's the thing. The jets shouldn't be able to outrun an electromagnetic pulse. Like, but I think it wouldn't be that hard to Faraday cage the jets. The jets should be a Faraday cage, so the EMP shouldn't be affecting them, because... the States likely has anti-EMP technology. So, honestly, EMP should be irrelevant against the States' cutting-edge technology. Let me just check this again. Tomura... The jets activate a force field. Okay, the jets also have a force field, so they should be fine. Oh, Ty, I missed your comment. Maybe she's a Technomancer. Would be pretty cool. Gotcha, man. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. If she's a Technomancer, then yeah, that could... I can see how, but she's so buff. But yeah, that'll be cool. Let's see. Just going off. My current theory is that this fight is where symbiosis relationship ends. You're giving Shigaraki a lot of credit, man. Shigaraki's... Oh, okay. Here we go. Oh, God. Holy. Something weird's happening. What is this? Well, this is even worse. Holy crap, I can see now why this girl had to do something crazy. Oh, no, wait, no, it's a reality warper. She's actually a reality warper. Wait, so let's see this. Shigaraki says it's a contest to see who will touch the other first, but Star is already prepared to go all out. She says, in a space 100 meters away from me, the atmosphere ceases to exist. Oh, no, it is negation. It is physical phenomena negation. Soon after, we see a huge transparent star forming around Shigaraki. His eyes begin to bleed, and he cannot breathe. Star and Stripe's quirk is called New Order. By touching something and calling its name, she can impose a new rule over it. It actually is phenomena negation, but worse because it's actually more powerful. Didn't the Bleach character have a guy that could do this, impose rules on things by calling their names? He had a power related to names. Anyway, going back to this. Yeah, man. I'm actually... Yeah, okay. And just to make it clear, the only reason I got onto the idea of physical phenomena negation was because Jason brought up that she was ignoring a lot of things in the high altitude. So that's pretty interesting. No, so... Oh, you know what, too? This does empower the jets as well, because if the quirk is she can impose a new rule over anything that she's touching, then she likely imposed rules on the jets to give them new properties. So she is actually able to boost everything. Dear God. What an insane quirk. Like, this is a whole new level. This is actually full-on reality warping. Yeah, and we were talking about this too the other, like, I think on Tuesday, that for this to be something big, it has to be a reality warper. But I didn't think we'd actually get a reality warper like this. Okay, so let me just read your guys' comments. Anyway, Star Godlike, so New Order stronger than One for All. I think if it's used intelligently, she can order reality. Can't blame All for One for wanting that. Bleach character, reality warping, guessed correctly. You thought the same thing. I was about to say someone was talking about. Let's go. Holy crap, we were close, but that's insane. Well, the thing is, Ty, like, I think yours is still valid here too, because she could probably change the laws of. She could probably impose an order on something being like, gravity doesn't affect this, or gravity affects you 100 times over. So pretty much everything that we were saying can be replicated by this quirk. She could act right here, Trip. I'm simply trying to analyze writing techniques being employed here. The fact that we're seemingly tackling this relationship head on leads me to believe that this will be resolved soon, or else it becomes repetitive. Well, I don't think it'll be resolved. I don't think that Shigaraki will gain anything in this fight that allows him to be himself. Because what we've seen here is... So, why despair from my perspective? You're arguing for Shigaraki's autonomy, and you've been arguing it for a very long time. But from my perspective, we've seen Shigaraki try to be himself. We've seen him controlled. We've seen Shigaraki be given control back by All for One's graces. And now when we see Shigaraki after a quick break, he's talking about becoming or being simultaneously All for One. This isn't the narrative of someone that's suddenly going to break free, especially when there's no real stress occurring here. Not when you're ultimately doing something that All for One wants. When All for One is talking about a great opportunity and you're the one that shows up there to exact or to act on his great opportunity, this isn't the situation of someone breaking free. This is a situation of someone digging a hole further into it. So when it comes to the writing techniques, I understand what you're saying with the issue of it becomes repetitive. I don't think it's going to be repetitive if Shigaraki just flat out shuts up after this and accepts that he's going to be All for One's symbiotic double. At this point... And this is the thing, Shigaraki's been wanting to say that he is his own person this entire time. But this entire time, like, I've doubted him, and I still very much doubt him, because Shigaraki's pretty much just a small stain in the history of All for One. Like, this is still All for One's game, and Shigaraki has nothing that really allows him to step away from All for One other than hatred. And that hatred is largely something that was manufactured by All for One. So in this situation... We're not going to be in a situation where Shigaraki gains autonomy here because Shigaraki needs to be made a villain. So from all my perspectives, I see this getting worse for Shigaraki, as opposed to better. Again, in my perspective on this one. Star Stripes, let's see. But I do understand what you said about repetitive, but again, I don't find the escalation to full-on symbiosis at this stage repetitive. That feels like what I was waiting for. So like I said again, I'm very happy about the symbiosis situation. I mean, mind you, I think this is going to lead to Shigaraki killing All For One, the physical body, and only playing into All For One's plans, allowing the vestige to take even more root within Shigaraki. Like, I think that's where we're going here. The other big issue is, how does Erasure actually interact? Oh, they're typing. How does Erasure actually affect the effects of New Order, right? In this situation, Erasure probably wouldn't cancel anything that New Order creates unless New Order requires input from the original user while it's active. So we'll have to see. Like, there are a few spots here that might be interesting. While Shigaraki is stunned, the Jets start shooting lasers at him from all directions. The pilots think they have him beaten, but Star warns that it's too early to brag. Shigaraki combines Reflect with Diffuse and sends the lasers back. One of them goes towards her, but she touches it and says, "The laser will be held by me," which indeed it does. A laser moves at the speed of light, brah. Like, this girl was able to catch something going at the speed of light. Oh yeah, no, Jason, I agree that it's an emitter quirk, but I mean the effect of it. Like, for instance, if Buddy Girl creates a New Order on a rock, right? And it's like the rock will be melting into lava, right? If Aizawa looks at her, does he cancel the effect that's already ongoing before that? We actually don't know, because we don't know whether or not this power works on One Piece rules, where if you knock out the main body's power, the rest of the effects of it go away. I'm trying to think if there's been any examples of Aizawa canceling the products of quirks. But not really. Like, Aizawa can't cancel Shoto's ice after it's been formed, right? So that's kind of what it depends on. Like, also, Aizawa probably can't cancel out the stickiness of Mineta's balls once they're already out. So it really depends on how we are comprehending this particular quirk. Okay, I gotta read through you guys' stuff real quick. Damn lightsaber, it might be like Mineta quirk. That was such a Star Wars move by Horikoshi, but she couldn't have time to speak to use it. I'm curious what her downside. I feel like Horikoshi is setting up the story in a way for Shigaraki to be saved from All For One. Maybe it doesn't affect living things clause, as every reality warping cut. But it does affect living it does affect reality. It does affect living things because it affects Star and Stripe. Because she caused a star to form around him, right? The atmosphere. Oh no. Maybe Miguel is right. In a space 100 meters away from me, the atmosphere ceases to exist. Oh, you know what? This is really overpowered. Because if the rules are she needs to touch something and call its name, by touching empty space or by touching the atmosphere, she has control over the entire atmosphere. That's probably why she had to give the specific rules in a space 100 meters away, because she had to limit it. But it's funny that she didn't define the dimensions of space, so it looks like the quirk itself has a limit of how much space it can affect, because all she said was the distance from where this space gets applied. And then Shigaraki survived a vacuum. So let me read this again. Shigaraki is stunned. The Jet start shooting lasers at him from all directions. Shigaraki combines Reflect with Diffuse and sends the lasers back. One of them goes... How did Shigaraki survive the vacuum? No, we have to kind of be looking at whether or not Miguel's... Right now, Miguel's idea here that it might not be able to affect living things. But then again, Shigaraki said this all depends on who touches who first. So she must be able to affect living things. Yo, I don't know. I don't know about what happened with Shigaraki in that vacuum. There's not enough information in these things. Super regen. No, I'm aware of super regen, but I'm just wondering, what happens if you get suffocated when you have super regen? Yeah, I'm just wondering about the dynamics of that vacuum there. I just kind of want to know how he got out of it, and I do want to know the dimensions of the vacuum space that Star was able to create. I guess we'll get a sense of how big the space she can affect is when we see the image. I really do think turning off Shigaraki's quirks might be the way to go here. Just because that regen is a little bit too much. Like, if she just says, like, Shigaraki cannot regenerate. Oh, I wonder if they can pull some kind of weird maneuver here with names. Because she said, like, so the quirk works by calling its name. There might be a really important reason as to why those pilots had to tell Star what Shigaraki's name is. Like that moment at the beginning where he says, "This is Tomura Shigaraki, not all for one." That might have been really important. Those pilots, it might be in their best interest to know the identity of the people they face. I'm wondering if what exactly defines Shigaraki's name, right? How is someone, what attaches a name to a person? Because it's one thing to talk about a concept, but once you're calling something's name, because Shigaraki's name, Shigaraki Tomura, is a villain moniker. Shigaraki's name is Tenko. I wonder if there's some kind of weird legalese that the author could pull here and say like, oh, ha ha ha, Star and Stripe, his name is not Tomura. Oh, the typing. That would be so cheap though if they try and go in with, oh, his name's actually not Shigaraki, it's Tomura, what blah blah blah. Oh no, sorry, it's Tenko. That'd be really cheap. Because if we're going to be talking about names, we should just be going with if someone recognizes, if you call someone's name and they recognize that's essentially their name. Oh, that's another good one, Jason. But that's just, ooh, this is really kind of fit. I hope it doesn't get finicky, but we're now in a territory where we're dealing with a reality warper with actually really lax rules on this. I wonder what happens if like she touches a stool and calls it a table instead. No, ideally they just keep it simple, and by the virtue that Shigaraki recognizes Shigaraki as his name, by that virtue the quirk works. Hopefully there's not going to be legalese here, because that'd be pretty stupid. Alright, let me read your guys' comments. If she can affect living things, does that mean she can make herself a giant? I mean, I don't know. Is there a time limit to what she affects, or does Shigaraki doesn't need oxygen? Hard to say from the spoilers. Logan choked his son to death because son got same powers. Wait, does Shigaraki name count then because he's Tenko? I got that, yeah. To be honest, I think she winning just greatly increased. I just feel Star and Stripe has too good of a start. Yeah, yeah, she's gonna touch him and her quirk won't work because she's never Tomura Tenko. Oh, sorry, Tomura or All for One. But his name is Tenko Shimura. Oh no, like Noragami Yato's real name thing. Maybe calling out a name is something as simple as saying body, referring to a human body. Ideally, once when Izuku saves Shigaraki, he'll call him Tenko. That'll be the driving name for him. Yeah, I wonder if Star and Stripe quirk will end up affecting this symbiosis relationship. Considering that Tomura is completely unsure who exactly when Star saying something like Tomura dies. Oh, here we go. We got more. Yeah, man, this is going a little bit too fast, brah. This is going a little bit too... She's even getting the flashback. Boys and girls, you know what happens. When you get a flashback, the end is nigh. Oh, God. She's actually going to wipe in a chapter. Oh, dear God. She's going to wipe in a chapter. The author's actually doing it. He's actually going to make her wipe in a chapter. The flashback is here. It doesn't matter anymore. You guys remember when this happened to Nagant. Once you had the flashback show up, it was over. Okay, we then see an internal monologue from her, and she's saying that she can only create 2 rules at a time. She always keeps one on herself, which gives her super strength. Great. Starts talking about how she was saved by an exchange student who came from Japan when she was a little girl. She and her family were on their way to Santa Monica Pier when they were approached by a robber. While she was begging for her sister to be spared, All Might appeared and defeated him. She says that those 2 antenna-like hair will forever be stored in her memory and that he became her spiritual master. So I think we talked about this. This is just probably a fangirl. That's why she made her own hair look like All Might's, only with 8 antennas. She wants to contribute even more to peacekeeping than he did. Yo, this is gonna end in her getting decimated. Like, if we don't see her like with missing the whole middle part of her body, she'll have gotten out of this extremely lucky. Holy crap. Honestly, now I'm expecting her to not even last this chapter. Yeah, no, White Despair. It's gone to that direction as well. Yo, what if All for One comes back at the end of this and he's like, this entire time, I made sure to give Shigaraki a fake name because I wanted to make sure that Star and Stripe could not affect him. This is funny. She's definitely going to touch him and her quirk won't work. Oh, yeah, no, man. This is really funny. Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh. Yeah, like in the same moment he touches her to decay her, he takes the quirk and it's done. Yeah, no, way to go, Horikoshi. Way to go. Hori is the real winner. I guess I wasn't wrong. She can't lose. I'm not worried for her personally since I still don't know her as a character. I'm more scared for the heroes if she loses. Hori likes to give death flags and never execute on it. Yeah, that's true. But defeat flags. He does execute on defeat flags. She has way too strong of a start. The fight literally starts off with her creating a star. Her odds just plummeted. Nah, like, there's still a possibility. You know the second user quirk is going to be hella OP when magnified by 1 for all. That's why it hasn't been revealed yet. Yeah, that one's going to have to do something. It's going to have to do something crazy at this point. At this point, if Shigaraki just kills her and doesn't take away the quirk, that'll be pretty worthwhile. Like, heck, man, if Star and Stripe realizes that Shigaraki is going to be powerful. Okay, if we're going to go down the direction of this girl dying now, if she dies, she could do a thing where in the split second where she realizes that her quirk didn't work on Shigaraki, she changes the order on herself to make her quirk unstealable. If she does that, then we get into a situation where nothing has happened. Extremely hilarious. Like, on the video, I was making fun of the idea that the author would make the situation turn into nothing. Like, you know, like, you don't change the status quo. And I really hope he doesn't go into the situation where he doesn't change the status quo. And what I mean by that is, if the author goes into the situation and makes it so that the only thing that changes is Star and Stripe is dead, that's going to be really unfortunate, because then it's like, why even bother introducing her? Why bother going through the motions just because you want to make Shigaraki look great? But let's not berate him just yet, because we don't know. At this point, I think letting her live is going to be the good move here. I really want her to live now, because this is just ridiculous. That quirk already, there's a lot of just concerns with it when it comes to that name rule. Looking at it here, like, him also saying that she can only create 2 rules at a time and she has one that gives her super strength active at all times, that in of itself is concerning, because he had to go out of his way to point out that there was one affecting her. Starshine better not be a delivery girl who gives all for one a special package. No, pretty much, Kayla. This is one of my concerns as well. No, that might be it. That might be it. And I made the joke in that video too, like, because otherwise she's going to be a transportation device for her quirk. But no, at this point, if she's going to go down like a chump, at this point, pray that she changes the order on herself at the last minute to let herself die, but not give away the quirk. But yeah, you know, okay, they're typing. But this last line, she wants to contribute even more to peacekeeping than he did. That's the line of a character that says it, and then in the next shot is dead. So let's see. Is Star and Stripe about to die? Is the next line, and she's dead? Let's see what the spoilers say. Or are you going to fridge another female character? That last is probably going to be a range attack too. It has. Oh yeah, it has to be, right? Because Buddy Guy had a gauntlet that seemed to fire things. Is Quirk going to get stolen his fight and live after this battle? Yeah, no, man. Oh yeah, if she made herself untouched. Oh, here we go. Shigaraki is pissed because everyone keeps talking about All Might no matter what country they're from. Star says that that's precisely why he became known as a symbol of peace, and warns him that her quirk also works on people. Then she says, if tomorrow Shigaraki moves even 1 centimeter, his heart will stop. Yeah, this is gonna be the critical moment right here. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, I'm already cringing for her. Oh no. This is stupid. This revolves around legal names. No, man, I really hope it's more what Jason said of, like, Shigaraki doesn't know what to refer to himself as. Oh no. And you know, like, one note here very quickly about Viz translation. Viz translation last week, they said, "What am I exactly?" That I really do think that's the bad translation. They should have done what the fan translation said and changed the question to "Who am I?" Because who is way more important for this situation. Oh no. It's gonna be hilarious if it comes down to using government names. Please make this respectable. Alright, because guys, like in the video I put up before this, I was thinking like, alright, you know, a quick fight, like a crazy win is going to be pretty bad because it's going to make Star look really stupid here. But if you have the sneakiness of All for One coming in here, I do think what Viz pointed out would be sneaky. I think that would be worthwhile. But holy crap, man. I don't know if this is going to be a narrow victory for Shigaraki, because this doesn't feel narrow. This just feels like going through the motions. Oof. His heart stopping would barely stop tomorrow. He already managed to bring himself back from the dead once. Oh, don't remind me. That still just leaves such a bad taste in my mouth, man. A bit too stupid for my taste. Yeah, no, okay, I'm kind of rooting for Viz's idea here. Because if you do a all-for-one swap, I think that is much more fair. Man, if this relies on names, Star should have gotten out of there the moment she heard this guy questioning who he was. Like, if I'm her, and I hear a guy with an identity crisis, I get out of there. Well, mind you, if I was her, I'd also test to see whether or not I can beat Identity Crisis. But if I can't beat Identity Crisis, I'm out of there, man. Like, I don't know. Touch the atmosphere. 100 feet away from me, the atmosphere erupts into smoke. That paralyzes. Paralyzing smoke. Just do that and just run. Just run. Or get out of there. Like, the atmosphere ahead of me creates a wormhole that lets me pass through and I end up in Japan. Why can't she make a wormhole? Whatever. I'm not gonna get into it. Yeah, no, man. At that point, I would have ran. The moment I hear Identity Crisis, I'm out. Nah, I wouldn't risk it unless she's able to overcome Identity Crisis. I wouldn't risk it. Right now, Shigaraki doesn't know who he is. This isn't going to end well. He has Hulk levels and multiple personalities. Let's see. I feel like the confusion about her will be the reason it doesn't work. The chapter is even titled after this fact. He beat her without showing his strength. Tenko, a man literally too angry to die. What would be interesting is if her orders stay after she dies, and it comes back way later in the final battle, ends up killing Shigaraki. Oh, that'd be nice. Imagine #1 hero in the US would know by now her quirk extends to a person's name. Yeah, you'd hope. You'd hope. You'd really hope. You'd really hope this girl would test the limits of her quirk. Like, honestly, she should have. She should have been trying to see, but it's also such a unique situation. You gotta really hope All For One takes over and moves it. Ugh, we're gonna find out in a quick bit here. They're not typing yet, so I can play here for a while. No, I really hope we don't legalese our way out of this, man. Don't make this like find the fine wording. That's gonna suck. We shouldn't be doing this in Hero Academia. If you have a reality warping power, you should be able to overcome simple identity crisis. Oh, this is gonna be good. If only she said, if you take one more step, if the person I'm currently looking, or anything else, it doesn't rely on names. But unfortunately, her power relies on names, right? That's the unfortunate thing. It relies on a name. Like, the power doesn't work without calling its name. It's too bad. You hope she knows that people's intelligences have been shown to be non-existent from time to time. Yeah, I mean, like, at the end of the day, idiocy is the best tool for a plot, or incompetency is the best tool for a plot. So, what can you really do? All it takes is a moment of incompetency. Identity is greater than reality. God, their image seems All For One does take over. Yeah, now I really have to wonder how she's standing on that jet as well. Like, I'm actually really curious. So let me read your guys' your comments. Maybe Star touches him and calls out human, but it doesn't work because Shigi doesn't see himself as human. Who decides that what someone's name is? Yeah, that's pretty much what we're talking about, Viz. Oh, they're typing. Let's see. Okay, the focus then shifts to the vestige world inside Shigaraki, and we see that All For One is almost taking over his body like a parasite. He says that he's still incomplete, something like 97 or 98, but Shigaraki's hatred is causing them to become a single being. Full symbiosis. The being is neither All For One nor Tomura Shigaraki, a new identity is emerging. The real world Shigaraki then shouts no and shakes his head. Star doesn't understand why his heart hadn't stopped like it was supposed to. She wonders if he's not Tomura Shigaraki. All For One starts talking through Shigaraki's body, saying that if he hates him, then he needs to hate him even more. It is this hatred that will give rise to our bright future. Shigaraki's hair comes loose, and his eyes turn white. He remembers his home and says that it was in this place that his hatred began to build up. The last panel of the chapter shows a large explosion in the sky surrounded by black lightning. At least it wasn't done cheaply. I mean, I appreciate seeing All For One taking over the man like a parasite. I think I put the image there, guys. Like, if you look up a little bit, I have the image of All For One merging into Shigaraki. So it looks like the legal name got to be used to make for the quirk to work. I guess so. We'll have to see. And it's the explosion with black lightning might have been the quirk that he used to kill Nana from the OVA. Storage job is done for, so it looks like its legal name got to be used in order. This reminded me of Carnage when he began to fully control his post body and mind. This is clearly based on the Venom symbiotes. I'm just glad that we're actually seeing All For One turning into an entity with Shigaraki. Now the only question here is, will Shigaraki be able to do something? Because he is resisting it. Will Shigaraki be able to resist it? At this point, given that Shigaraki needs to be saved by Izuku, what we're probably looking at here is that there's two options. Either Shigaraki's hate fuels the merge even more, or Shigaraki's hate goes so far that it consumes the hate that's fueling the merge and stops the merge by just hating too much. That's a little bit too convoluted. No, it looks like Shigaraki's going to hate himself into being a new persona, as All For One says. And then Shigaraki, in the dark depths of this new persona, is going to be called out by Izuku and then maybe pulled out. Otherwise, you can have Shigaraki trying to take himself back during one moment of weakness. He tries to kill All For One, and that in of itself causes the merge to be fully formed. Yeah, sorry guys, I had to kind of figure that one out. It's just too convoluted. It looks like, let's see. Don't worry guys, it's an explosion, so she's fine. That's true. All For One is truly a parasite. Most powerful quirks: hate, regeneration, and strength. Yeah, distorted. Now, White Despair, what do you think, my friend? What are you thinking about this? So I'll just read that last bit. The focus shifts to the vestige world inside Shigaraki, and we see All For One is almost taking his, I saved the clip. Whatever. Is almost taking over his body like a parasite. He says that he's still incomplete, something like 97, 98, but Shigaraki's hatred is causing them to become a single being. That's pretty critical. I wonder why. Why is Shigaraki's hate causing that merge to go through faster? The being is neither All For One nor Tomura Shigaraki. A new identity is emerging, which is what All For One wants. At the end of the day, he needs Shigaraki's hate. So symbiosis route still pretty good here. Real world Shigaraki then shouts no and shakes his head. Star doesn't understand why his heart hasn't stopped like it was supposed to, so the name's not working. She wonders if he is not Tomura Shigaraki. All For One starts talking through Shigaraki's body, saying that if he hates him, then he needs to hate him even more. It is this hatred that will give rise to our bright future. Shigaraki's hair comes loose and his eyes turn white. He remembers his home and says that this is the place that his hatred began to build up. That does feel like that's the setup for a flashback. But it's a little bit tricky because he says that he starts... If it's the place that makes his hatred build up, then that means he's going full on hate, which is what All For One wants at this point. Imagine if Shiga decides to start his old name and then starts... And this starts the loss of the kid named Tenko. Huh, yeah. So I just gotta ask the big question. How the heck does All For One know that hate is the key to everything? So far, hatred does three weird things. It allows One For All to be stolen, it allows All For One to gain control, and now it's apparently the key to them fusing. Yeah, White Despair, I've been asking that the entire time. How does All For One know that hate is the key to everything, right? Where's the scientific studies? Why do these guys just somehow know that having a hate factory is the way that you take over One For All? How does hate erodes another person's will? Like, this doesn't make sense. No, thank you. Thank you for pointing that out, because I've been, you know that I've been saying that for a long time. It's just, there's never been any scientific study about this. Like, how do they know this? Who came up with this? Who came up with this pseudoscience? I truly don't know. Shigaraki's long hair. That's a new identity. Yeah, I guess All For One's really living his dreams right now, man. All For One's living his dreams. He's actually got a full head of hair again. Good for him, man. Good for him. Shigaraki's screwed. Like, once this hair takes, like, this guy's not getting a haircut. That's it. Shigaraki's screwed. I think the new identity is now formed, and this is now the symbiosis route. I think now Shigaraki's gonna be in the deep dark depths of his psyche, most likely, and now it's gonna seeing the hair. The hair is such a giant statement. I now do think that Izuku is going to be reaching out to the new identity and trying to pull Shigaraki out of it, trying to let him come back and take more control of the new identity. Probably. It's just, hair is such a big symbol in in Jump that I can't take this seriously anymore. I have no hope for Shigaraki because these people rarely ever get haircuts.